So welcome to the Node.js Next 10 meeting for this October 16th, 2024. Before we get started, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share?
I'm good.
Okay, if not, let's dive into the agenda that was in issue number 303 in the Next 10 repo. The first one is the Ambassador program, so message and topics for additional content. So that's one where we could spend some time figuring out like what some messages are. The ambassador program is starting to ramp up. We have our first ambassador who's been, I think, is being onboarded. Thanks, Marco, for doing that.
I've not onboarded yet.
Okay.
We should reschedule for next week because I wanted to pick a date where you were also available.
Okay. Yeah, or it's underway. So soon we'll have our first ambassador, and it would be good to work on the messages. Maybe we should loop back to that one at the end though and use the time that we have to work on that. Does that make sense to people?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity,
Yep.
just opened up the issue and there's two URL links in there. They don't seem to function. Is that because they were moved or?
Take a look. Which
Brainstorm and
links are
move
you talking
forward,
about? The
filling
very first
in.
ones?
You have brainstorm and move forward, filling in, and then there's two links, and I clicked on both of them, and neither one works.
Those ones both work for me.
So maybe I am doing something wrong.
They basically go to the README for the ambassadors repo, and there's
Just to
like
let you
two
know, I'm getting a 4.
ambassadors and two
Is
empty
it
sections.
private or something? Because I'm getting a 404.
It is. I think we made it. It is. You have to be a member of the organization, I think.
Okay, so that's the reason why I don't see it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. I think maybe the like if you want to officially join the Next 10 team, then that adds, I think that would add you to the I think actually it's still it's private, yeah. I don't know, Marco, is that still on purpose?
Yeah, currently
Right.
the documentation is on
Yep.
Node, but
Yep.
the repo is still private.
I'm just trying to remember. Maybe I'm looking up the documentation for that. It might have been a choice.
Yeah, but maybe because we want to we want to post content there before getting published, and we want to iterate privately on the content.
Right, yeah, okay. Where are we? API doc contributing.
Mike, we could take this as a
Yeah,
sidebar if
okay,
you
we
want
can
to keep
take that as
a
as
sidebar
a
to keep going
yep,
forward. And if I want to participate, I'll just guide me to where
yep.
what I need to do.
Okay, sounds good. Right, so message topics. So we'll loop back to that. Follow on the discussion from the survey, perf and diagnostics. I don't think we've done anything on that. That's still a good thing to have a reminder, though. I don't know if anybody's thought anything about that one. I think I'm happy if we focus a little bit on the ambassador program first and then get to the next two. But if anybody wants to jump into those, feel free, of course.
I don't have anything to add at this moment.
Okay.
And one question, follow up on discussion from survey, performance, and diagnostics. We should explore this at the summit at next step. Is that what you still are proposing?
That is, I think. Yeah, so I think definitely connect with the people already in the working groups and figure out if there's some next steps there. And we do want to make sure that it's highlighted in the survey. Like we have a session proposal that's on the survey. So yeah, I think those are still kind of the next steps.
Okay.
I say plan to highlight and discuss. And then the next one, corporate usage stories and studies. Again, I think that one makes sense to just defer until we've got the ambassador program ramped up. But that would be my next top thing to get going after we do. Building a sustainable and healthy collaborator base. I don't know, Marco, if there's anything beyond the survey that you want to discuss or mention on that front. Maybe you want to go through the survey.
Yeah, I got the survey results. We should
Okay.
do some manual work to like for the open question answers. We should
Yep.
like group them together. So okay, I will share the link here in the chat. Let me. Okay.
So is that something that like we need to sanitize the results, or you've already gone through and they look fine, and then we can just
we should like results look fun, so there's probably no need to sanitize.
Okay.
But we just need to wait. Where should I share this? Because I got them on Slack.
Can you post the link in the chat?
Let's see. Yeah. There you go. Should be still available. Is it available?
Okay. Yeah, it seemed open for me.
Okay. Yeah, so this is it.
Okay.
And I also have the PDF format results,
Okay.
which I can, I don't know if I can share them here.
Is that ready, do you think, to be PR'd into the repo or?
Like, let me share my screen.
Sure.
I will share, okay, share the whole screen. So on Slack, where is Slack? Here we go. So this one should be good to be PR'd in, because it's just like
Right, yeah. Right,
it's okay.
Out of curiosity, I see that 30 people, well, 35 people responded. Which is the ratio to the active contributors that are in this universe that we're trying to do? Is this 5%, 1%?
I think it's
is that a good question to ask? And then the other question is, what proportion of that universe should we have so that we can say this data is a good representation of the thoughts of that community?
So our collaborators total is 87. So 35 out of 87 is like 35% something, something
good.
like that, which is good. Given that a lot are inactive, I think it's a good result. So then yeah.
That's another question to follow up on that. So you're saying that you identified 80 individuals thereabouts, and you got 35 response. Out of that 80, is that 80 you reached out both active and inactive users?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
I'm just trying to make sure I understood what you were saying. You're saying that you had 80 people that you contacted in the survey?
So the total Node.js collaborator base is 87 people. So I pinged all of them.
Okay.
So like that is the maximum, like that is the maximum amount of people that were allowed to partake this survey.
And how did you identify those 87?
Those are
Identify, like,
basically the
yeah, it's a GitHub team.
like those are the collaborators who've been nominated to be collaborators in the Node project. So those are the
Okay.
people who review and land things. So we had this was an internal survey for all the people in Node Core who were actually been nominated as collaborators to get some specific information versus like we did an earlier survey, which was like open to everybody.
No problem. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
So as you can see, the results are by individual, which probably it's not great because it could allow identification of someone, which is something that we don't want. For example, because if you match all the, like, how long have you been in the project, which are
Yeah.
the working groups you attend, you could identify some people. So I think we should
There must be a way to get the results, like the results that the foundation did. They gave them to us, and it was just like for every question there was the write-in things, the whole list of them, not individual ones.
So I tried to ask Jen for, like I
Yeah.
told her the last time, the results were in a better format, and she told me those are the results, and like this is the format.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. Well, you tried.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would agree that before publishing, we'd want to like somehow squish it down into it's a PDF versus an Excel. Is it possible to download it in an Excel?
So from what I can tell, I cannot download anything from the website. So
Okay,
I'm just relying on the files that I've been given. I don't know
okay,
if
so
you
she just
can. Yeah.
so SurveyMonkey, but SurveyMonkey Excel. I wonder if the question more to go back to Jen is like, we don't want you to change the format, but we want you to download it as an Excel, not a PDF. That might be worth asking the question.
Okay, so I will ask her. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So she. Yeah. Is it possible?
So basically asking for the raw data versus it compiling the information.
Yeah, I think the PDF is close to the raw. Anyway, I just wonder, like, maybe she's like, yeah, no, I can't change anything, but it's like, oh, yeah, there is an option to download that other way, and we'll end up getting what we want.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is good.
Yeah.
So I could PR into it already. But the other one, I think we can work on it. I don't know how we want to do this, but like we need one Word file and to copy paste every first piece of every answer into a
Yeah, it's basically we want to we'd need to probably write something that parses it, I guess, because there's 30. Otherwise, that's a lot of manual work. I'm just trying to think, like, sometimes the manual work is faster than writing a tool. But so we can PR in, what would we call this? This is the summary or the So it's the non-write-in questions, right?
Maybe we can try to send that to ChatGPT and hey, give us a summary.
Yeah, we can try to do that.
So we asked if there is an Excel download. So I'd say let's see if something comes out of that. Hey, can we get an Excel? Because maybe that solves our problem and we're just back to what we got last time. Other than that, like if we can.
That's the overview. We can call that overview.
Okay, right. Yeah.
And then we need to also this one has IP addresses and
right. Okay, we definitely want to take those out.
Yeah. So this one cannot go.
Yeah. So if there's no Excel, then oh well.
Like at the end of the day, it's not too bad because they are at least organized, like Q1, Q2, Q5, Q3, Q5. So it should not be extremely hard. I don't know if I don't know if there are Excel like PDF parsers that could do this. I highly doubt, but
Yeah, like, because even like, can you save a PDF as text from, I don't know. I'd say like, let's wait to see if we get an Excel download. If yes, answer is easy. If no, then we can see if we need to write a tool to parse. Anything interesting from the summary side of things that I think a lot of the interest may be in the write-ins, but like we can go through.
so how long have you been contributing to the project? Like most people are around 2 and 5 years.
Okay.
Not many, like a lot of people on the higher part of the which is interesting. I would expect like there are a lot of people who have been like onboarded recently and a lot like less people that have been for a long time, but it's the opposite.
Yeah. So the 10+ years, but that's like 10% is like 3 or 4 people, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
This
an
is
yeah. So 2 to 5 years. Yeah, it is interesting that there's only 5 in the survey from 1 to 2 years. Because we do know there's more than that. I'd have to see, like, I don't know how many people we onboarded this year, but again, we didn't get everybody responding. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then we have working groups. Mostly is in order. So we need to go to the other one, but other than WASI, which is the smallest one, I think it's like 5, 5, 6, 5, 3, 7, 4, 5. So I think it's evenly distributed.
Yeah, no, that's it's an interesting. I guess there's other, we missed some, so the interesting will be in the right-hand side there too.
Yeah, there is Undici, which we missed, and like some other.
Okay.
Is contributing to Node.js part of your job? No. And people who said yes, which is 28%, they also specified what like in which percentage and how that goes. How did you first get involved? This is issues and PRs to address problems. Apparently, like Node.js conferences and collab summits are not very effective. Compared
like the
to
conference, the collaborator summit I could see because we're kind of like, hey, they're for collaborators. So, but like the conferences, you would hope that might do a better job there.
Also, working groups, I think it's something that could, like, it's a good percentage.
Yeah.
Code and learn, which I don't know if we do any anymore.
We haven't done those in quite a while, but that does, that's.
And then like just people who wanted to fix stuff and got involved. Pulled in by other collaborators. There is just one other.
Yeah.
So why did you get involved? So we have hobby and like users that wanted to contribute to the project.
Yep.
So, and then we have worked for a company that uses Node, then joined the team at the company. This is expected, I think. What would have made it easier to get involved? We have, let's see here, better identification of the work that needs to be done across the project. I think this is a common issue that we don't have good first issues or like
Yeah.
any way of like a board with of things that should be done. And this also applies, so easier ways to get guidance, direction
Yep.
from existing collaborators. Those two are tightly correlated. Faster build time, easier build process.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
interested that
the-
documentation is that low, right? Like,
yeah. Like I think we have enough documentation on how to get involved, but like the hard part is to find good first issues and things to work on.
yeah, and I think that's related to like we don't have a roadmap and we don't have so there's no obvious, like even with the strategic initiatives and stuff like that, there's not an easy path to like, hey, here's join in on this effort kind of thing, right? And so maybe that's an area we can think about how to.
Yeah. Then we have what makes you want to continue contributing to the project. We have recognition, bug fixes, and features development. So like people who just want to improve Node. And we also have like recognition, which is a big thing. And
Yeah, I think that's
we
interesting there.
yeah we are like the contributor spotlight.
It shows that that's an important aspect that we definitely need to work on.
So what makes you less likely to continue contributing to the project? CI. Like
Yeah.
I also had the chance to read at like why you like later questions, and like problem number one is the CI, but we'll see that later. Like CI is flaky, CI takes a long time, builds take a long time, not really. Long discussions on PR, and this is also another issue that I've seen in the open answers. Is that like there is this feeling that it's very hard to go through discussion, and some people like give up conversation. So this is also something we might
That's
want
an
to.
interesting one because like some other ecosystems you like have to do a lot more even, right? Like, or it's more formal, right? Like you submit an RFC with your idea, the RFC gets discussed, and then once that's approved, when you come with the PR, you probably don't have as much, you don't have the discussions whether we want to do it or not. Like then the PR review is more about the PR. But we have a much more bring the code and then we'll have a discussion, right? And so that then makes the PR part much longer, right, than it would have been. Anyway, it's interesting.
Let's see. Code reviews are too lax. I don't think this is the case. Code reviews are like code reviews. I think other than being too slow, I think we are right. Also required process to get a PR landed. This is like not a problem. And like as you said, it's but PRs, I think PRs taking too long to land, and code reviews are too slow. A long discussions on PR, they are all like one face of the same problem, and the other one is CI for sure. How many hours do you dedicate to the project on average in a week? This is also like distributed evenly. We have like 30% 0.5, 30% 5.10, and 30% 10.40. Are you able to contribute as much as you would like? We have yes, a bit, no. 34% said yes. 22 a bit. So half is like more than a half is positive, and
Yeah.
which is good. But there is a 28% of no.
Yeah. Now that'll be interesting. Okay, so why not? Yeah.
Yeah. So why not? A lot of answers I've read is like, I just don't have time, or I have work to do. So
Right.
it will be interesting to see the like answers, and
Yeah.
36% is my company does not support my contributions, which is expected, I think. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good to have the data, but that's what I expected, is that like lots of companies don't actually support the contributions.
so we have 97% plans to keep contributing to this year. Just like one person said no.
Okay, well, that's
Would be interesting to see why. Then we have, are you planning to keep contributing for the next 5 years? We are at 91%, which is also good.
Yep.
And we have three people who said no. I think these numbers are positive.
yeah,
so,
I don't think we could hope for better than that, to be honest.
Yeah. What would you like to change to improve the current environment? This is an open question. This one was the foundation asked me to add it to the survey. So like we have 4 people who did not answer and 2 people who said yes.
Right. So the question I would have is, what's the typical percentage in an open source project? It'd be like, we can basically say 2 out of 33, or 2 out of 31. What's that percentage? And then compare that percentage to a typical. So that's 6.5%. So like, it'd be interesting to see what that, how that compares, right?
Yeah, I think like these topics is always difficult to talk about, in the sense that how do you make the project more inclusive towards underrepresented community. So this could be a topic for the Collab Summit, I think.
Yeah.
This is the last. No, we have another meeting before the summit, I think. So I will prepare the slides and highlight some of the conclusions or topics of discussion for the summit.
Right. Okay.
So how do we want to do what do we want to do for the open questions if we don't have the raw data?
I think then we're going to need to figure out among us, how do we like convert it into something. So like, maybe we could get back together. Like, if it turns out no, we could get back together and like do a session on like, can we hack together a tool or whatever, like somehow try and convert the data over, right?
Yeah.
And maybe just go ahead.
Yeah, maybe we can, like, I will try with ChatGPT to see if it works. If not,
Yeah, that's, and maybe we should just set a time to get together anyway, because like, do we want to review it in advance of the meeting? To like, so we could set a time to get together where we'll either review the data if it's, or work on consolidating the data, and then, because we don't have a lot of
Yeah.
weeks to prep, and so maybe putting something in our calendars, working on it, and then see what we have at the end would be good.
Yeah, we can book some like a private session to go through the answer, like sanitize and
Yep.
But like from what I saw, quick look, there is nothing too crazy, so
Yeah.
should
I
be
was more
fairly
like,
easy.
we could book that time to one, either just like go through and figure out how to convert it if we can't get the raw thing, or if we do, then, having looked at that, we could close out on, like, in terms of prep for the session, what more do we want to do in terms of the prep? I think we want to share the data. So like it's getting the data into a form where we can share it. Probably want a few slides that are like, here are the biggest takeaways, right? Like our biggest issue is the CI, or, here are the things. And then there could be a discussion on, I don't know, like we want to get the discussion, the CI. I don't know if there's not a lot to discuss. Like, yeah, we understand that's an issue, but having the discussion on like, what is it we should action to make sure we keep and retain collaborators? I think certainly the
Yeah,
new collaborate, like the information about like what would make it easier, like having that and some discussion among the people there to say, okay, well, we've been told that like the thing that would have made it easier is not more documentation. It's like being able to get a mentor, I think, or being able to find work that needs to be done, right? What can we actually do, if anything, on that front?
yeah, I get like we can like show the data and extract a few key points of
Yeah.
discussion. So like um we can like do that together.
So yeah,
We
it's
can
really whatever you need to be prepared. Like if you said, "Hey, I'm happy," great. But if you're like, "Hey, we should get together and talk," then like just want to make sure we get that in between now and then.
yeah. So for next step, do we want to set some time next week, like an hour to go through it?
I think that would
I will
be
be
that I'd be happy to do that.
yeah, I will be traveling. I will be at Medellin JS, so my time zone will change. So I will need to adjust to that.
Okay. Discuss prep, but I said Jean said we could also use some time in the NodeConf event to review and prep for people who I like to have things done well in advance, but like that's if we have to do last minute, that works too. Okay, so no, that sounds good. Some interesting stuff. Thanks for managing that, and I think it'll make for a good session there. I think the next thing on the agenda was the next steps from the advocacy deep dive, but I think we actually have specific issues for that. So the ambassador program and the corporate usage story. So I think we're covering that in the earlier ones. So that takes us back to the ambassador program. So in terms of message and topics for additional content, we seem to have about 20 minutes. So that sounds good. We could start a sort of brainstorming on that, I think. So on that front, it's really like what we've said is we will give the ambassador some guidance in terms of like what are the messages that we want to get out. What topics do we want them to be highlighting? Maybe we brainstorm a little bit here and then try and get some more feedback from the collaborators, either maybe through issues, and even maybe like during some of the sessions, we might be able to get that information. So if people, any sort of messages or topics top of mind that we think are like, hey, these are things we would like the ambassadors to promote to help the project and the goals that we currently have.
Out of curiosity, how have we been doing with promoting any accomplishments we've done in the last 3 months or 6 months? In the community, are there a list of accomplishments or a way to gather a list of accomplishments and then turn around and promote some of that out into the world?
Right. So like what's like are we talking features, releases, anything else? Maybe it's just more generic than that, though, right?
I
So
would,
I guess, sorry.
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I mean, just like as a very quick idea, like if we decide to like create a list of topics that we want to like have ambassadors talk about, wouldn't that be similar to what like the project roadmap looks like? Okay, like we have been working on this. For example, these are the features that we ship, and these are like the topics that we are working on. So it's not a roadmap in the sense that like you plan work for the future, but at least you know what you have been doing, and probably like people who are interested in joining, they can join to work on these topics. So like we can like sum up the thing into we create a roadmap and we have ambassadors talk about that, and we also fix the problem of people that don't know what to work on.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think, like it's not a roadmap, but it would be like current initiatives, right? So what would you put into that?
I would put like the strategic initiatives plus the features. Like we can look at notable changes from the releases and get some of the, like I've seen recently a lot of work on diagnostic channel. There is TypeScript.
Right.
There is like module, the thing that Joey is working on, the module module sync thing.
Right.
So there are topics that are not strategic initiatives, but they are like part of a larger
Yep.
work, especially on loader. So it would be good to highlight that, and that could drive, like we can have ambassadors talk about that, and that could also drive people, collaborators to like get interested in these topics.
Right. Yeah, okay. So I'm like, I think promotion of recent notable changes. So like look at the change light and highlight areas of work, right? Like that would be a thing, like they could follow that. That's good. Current initiatives would be like strategic initiatives. I think that's good. Working groups, like promoting working groups and getting involved in them.
And it would be great if the working group itself or somebody could help the working group come up with a rationale as to why somebody that's new to Node.js would want to join that working group.
Right.
You know, I don't, something that's more a marketing type of thing. You know what I mean? Come join us. We're trying to do this because the goal is, I'm assuming, is to let people know that we are an open community and you're welcome to join. Right? Is that some of the goals? And
Yep.
and also to let people know that we're still alive and we're still working and there's still a lot more to do. I'm just
Yep.
making sure that I'm still aligned with what you're thinking, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's like we don't have a real, we're not a venture. We don't have venture funding where we can PR, like do PR on all the great stuff that happens. And like, but, we're hoping that like the ambassadors will, get some of that news out. And exactly like you said, it's like, we're still here. Lots of work's happening, these great things. We saw in the survey that like the recognition of people's work is important. So let's promote that work. We do get some support from the OpenJS Foundation to do that, but like we're hoping to amplify, like to increase what we can get through this program as well. Okay, so any other ideas in terms of like the messages? Like I think when we started, one of the messages was around like, it's there's no development funding, so come how the project works almost, right? So that'll just throw that volunteer.
Just an idea, and I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe promoting each ambassador find something that they personally like, and maybe do an open house on that particular thing. You know what I mean? And then we can at least get the foundation to help promote through their channels that we're having an open house. And then, you know, and maybe that ambassador is not only one talking, maybe the ambassador has one or two people that support the project, the project or the working group on, and they're basically asking, they're sharing why they do it and what they do, and they're also asking people what questions they have about, joining the working groups or that type of thing. What are your thoughts about that? I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, so it's not really baked or anything.
The ambassadors themselves are like, the program is kind of meant for people who aren't active in core, but like they may have a big following, and so like they're more on the like they talk about JavaScript a fair amount, and it's like helping to get part of what they're doing more coverage of the Node project. I think what you've got, like that, I suspect most ambassadors will have like a particular area that, like Loran is definitely interested in the security side of things, so it lines up kind of on that front. I'm just trying to think how to like integrate that into the messages and stuff like that.
And not saying my idea is even applicable to what you're thinking we should be doing. It's just an idea. That's all.
Yeah. There any other things we'd like people to know more about the project, or things that are like misconceptions or gaps in, like, is there enough content in terms of like how to use Node with ESM or TypeScript? Are there gaps? I don't know if those are gaps, but
yeah, I think definitely with the new TypeScript features, it would be good to start talking about it and like teach people how to, even though it's still experimental and like it still
Yeah.
work, but I think it's interesting to talk about the technical choices and like how people can use it, and like details and things they have to change from what they're used
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, so there's a few, I've noted down a few thoughts. Do we have an issue open in the ambassadors?
I don't think so.
And the question is, should the issue be ambassadors, or should it be in the Node project? Maybe that we like, where do we have the conversation of what the initiative should be, where we'll get input from, like, we
I
can
think
tap
it's
it, or
fine to
think,
have them in public. Like the
right?
initiatives should be public. I think that the only like the private part, which is content reviewing, should be
Yeah.
done on the
Yeah.
private ambassador, but like decision making should be done in public.
Right. So we probably, okay, message. So I did create one in the here, Lawrence, I'll even tuning enable event. Yeah, no, just in the world of AI and LLM. Yeah. Yeah, it's a couple interesting one. That's one I'm in particular interested in since I've been doing some stuff around that. Some ideas from the. Just gonna paste that in. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe for now we just paste that list in and we continue to think about that and have the discussion in the issue. Because I've kind of like that's the ideas I've got for now, but I'm sure we'll get a little bit more if we can get some discussion going in the issue. I'm gonna put that on the TSC agenda for next week, maybe too, and like we might get some. That makes sense. Okay, so maybe we'll say that's what we're going to cover for this week. I put it into the issue. Any other topics we should talk about before we close out for this week? If not, well, thank you very much, and we'll give everybody a few minutes before the next meeting.
Bye bye.
Great, thanks.